So you're putting all this effort into your website's SEO, but you're still getting stuck on page 5 of Google. Or maybe you haven't really made a lot of progress in your SEO, but you know it's something you need to do. You just don't really have time to do it. You've got the great content, or maybe your site loads super fast, but something is still missing. That's where this is going to come in. Let's talk about guest blogging and how it might be exactly what your SEO strategy needs. Hey, hi, hello. I'm Michaela, and I help businesses climb those Google rankings without all the complicated tech talk. Today, we're chatting about how guest blogging can be the low energy piece to your SEO puzzle and exactly how you can get started and how it impacts your SEO. All right, so what is the deal with guest blogging right now? And how does it really help your SEO? And is it even right for your business or blog? Oh, and before I forget, I've put together this super helpful guest posting guidebook that walks you through everything step by step. It's totally free, and you can grab it using the link in the description of this video. Okay, so here's how guest blogging actually helps your SEO. When you write a post for someone else's website, you get a backlink to your site. And these backlinks essentially tell Google, hey, your site is great, it's legit, and you kind of know your stuff. Essentially, you're borrowing that trust from their website to give yours a little boost. It's like when your friend recommends their favorite restaurant to you. You're going to automatically be more inclined to go to that restaurant because it's from your friend. And that's essentially what the backlinks and guest blogs do. They're recommending you, like your friend recommends a restaurant, but on Google. Now, I want to be super clear here. Guest blogging works best when your overall SEO is already in decent shape. If your SEO or website has technical issues, so like really slow page loading speeds, or maybe your copy isn't aligned with your ideal client, or maybe you have a lot of thin content or no navigation. So any of these issues, among other things, please focus on fixing those first. It might take a little bit extra time, but it's going to help you so much in the long run. So for example, I had a client in the wellness space, and she had a blog to support her holistic wellness business. They had already optimized their site structure, and they had a consistent content strategy. And when we were able to add that guest blogging piece to their strategy, they were able to jump to the first page of Google in about 2 months, all because their pieces were finally working together. They were able to fill that gap in their strategy and see the results from it. Now, guest blogging isn't a magic fix, but it's just one more important piece of your Google SEO puzzle. Now, is guest blogging actually worth your time? Let's chat the pros and cons, because it's not going to be for everyone. And there are other ways to build backlinks and get that same trust in ways that might be better suited for you or your business or your preferences or the time that you have available. All right, first, the good stuff. So the good stuff that comes from guest blogging is building the quality backlinks, boosting your domain authority, which is a nice tool, but it is not a Google determining factor, although they do have something similar. Get in front of new audiences and make awesome industry connections. Plus, it's one of those SEO strategies that you don't necessarily have to stay consistent with. You could do 3 during the summer and 1 during December, and it wouldn't matter. Now for the not so great part. So guest blogging does still take time. And if you're not a writer, this probably isn't the best way for you to go. You don't necessarily have to have your own blog, which is one of the perks, but you still have to put a blog post together, and you should still take SEO best practices into consideration, because if that blog ranks on their website, you're going to get even more benefits for you. But just like anything with SEO, you're not going to see results overnight. So SEO is kind of like the long-term thing. You're going to see results over months, not necessarily overnight. The work that you do now is really going to be something you're thanking yourself for in like 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years even. So it's really about that long game, that sustainable traffic driver in the long run, not like, going viral overnight with a reel. And then even after researching and finding these guest blogging opportunities, there's still a chance for rejection. It's just like when you apply to be a guest on a podcast. Sometimes it's a good fit and sometimes it's not. And sometimes there's something you're not aware of. So do what you can to the best of your ability. All right, now since I'm curious and you're here, I do want to know, have you ever tried guest blogging before? Just a simple yes or no. I personally love it when I have time for it, but I know that it's not something that many business owners do at the moment, even though it does have such great results. Okay, now back to what we were talking about. So you heard me mention kind of like doing that research, pitching, and like putting yourself out there to be able to be a guest poster on or guest blogger on somebody else's website. When you're picking these websites, you're going to go for quality over quantity any day and every time. So that comes to both how many sites you do or how many sites you find, it's really tempting to say, oh, there's a really big website. I would love to guest blog for them because it's going to do so much. So I'm going to put all my energy into writing this one pitch and hoping it goes well. And yes, it would probably be a huge help to your business if you can get a backlink from a very aligned large website or a very trusted website. But you should not knock the lower domain authorities or the lesser known websites, because they can help you just as much, if not more. And the reason I say that is because they're likely more aligned with your audience or have a gap for you to actually rank on it. With bigger websites comes a higher chance of rejection, especially if they are like a corporation or a media outlet or any of that types of websites, because they do have so many pitches so often. Your blog post that you give them is also not likely to receive the same level of attention or marketing from their own team, because they do have so many articles and blog posts going out. When you pitch a smaller website or brand, you do have this opportunity to kind of get a little bit better marketing. And that is another benefit of the guest blogging, is not just that long term, but when they share about your blog post, or when their own audience comes to their website and reads through their post, or when they like do their little digging on like their brand, they're going to find your post, and your post can help you like that, versus a bigger place that has thousands of posts and you can easily get lost amongst the noise. That's just another thing to consider when you start pitching yourself for guest blogs or finding those opportunities to pitch. But essentially, you're going to look for websites with a domain authority equal or higher than yours. If you're a baby site, it's going to be much easier to pitch other baby sites that are only slightly higher than yours, and that's totally okay. Anything above helps. Second, you're going to want to check their spam score. There are a few tools you can do this. I prefer Moz, and this just kind of helps gauge where their backlinks are coming from, because you want to make sure they have a healthy SEO profile as well. Third, make sure they talk to the same people that you do. Your audiences need to align, just like anywhere else in your marketing. It needs to align to your ideal client. A blog post on a website that is unaligned is going to hurt you. It is not going to be a quality backlink. Also, please use caution if someone is asking you to pay for a guest blog post. I'm not saying that it is an immediate no. There are plenty of opportunities out there that you can pay for a guest post and see the results. But just be very careful with any of these opportunities. You do not want to violate Google spam policies, which I'm going to include in the description of this video, just so you can kind of get a refresh on that, because you also do not want to buy backlinks in the hopes that it's going to help your domain authority and help your ranking on Google. Now for the actual getting started. I know we kind of talked about the pitching, but how do we find these opportunities? Like, that's our first step, because if you don't have an opportunity, you can't post a blog post, right? The actual searching is not complicated. Finding the right one can be a little time consuming, but you do need a plan. So the first thing you're going to do is kind of write a list of your industry or search terms related to your industry. So for example, if I was a wedding photographer, I would likely say wedding photographer, wedding service provider, wedding photos, even bridal photos, so engagement photos, so anything related to that. So photos, photo shoots, and yes, these variations do matter. So wedding photographer, or vintage documentary wedding photographer, or Toronto wedding photographer. So you can get a little bit more specific like that, but start a little bit more vague, encompassing in the beginning to help with those searches. After you have that, you're going to take that information to create a list of 10 to 15 websites in your niche. Now, there are a few ways to find these websites. So one of the things that you can do is actually reach out to service providers that you know that serve your industry. So if you are in the wedding industry, what are some service providers or businesses that you know or have a good relationship with that have a website or even have a blog already and would be willing to allow you to post a guest blog on their website? So for example, a florist would be a good option, wedding venues, and make sure that you're thinking of how you can best serve their audience. It's going to tie back to you eventually, but you want to make sure that you are writing for their audience. This isn't about us. This is about them and their audience. It's just slightly about us. But if we want them to actually find our content valuable and get the best out of this effort that we're putting in, we need to make it about them. But if you don't have anybody in mind, then you're going to go to Google. And what you're going to Google is you're going to do your industry in brackets and quotations, plus literally the plus sign, right for us. to find them. You can also alternate between Write for Us and guest blog opportunities or guest posting, because some people do not call it guest blogging. Now, don't just take these sites and say, okay, this is what I'm going to pitch to. Instead, you're going to spend some time on them. You're going to look through like their branding. You're going to look through their articles if they have any, their services, maybe even their social media accounts, because you want to make sure that they are actually aligned with what you want to be aligned with. Next, you're going to go ahead and follow their instructions for submitting a guest blog. If you're doing this with a business friend or another service provider or business that you have a relationship with, go ahead and just send them an email. If you do not know them and you are doing it by my Google search method, then you're going to follow their guest blogging instructions. They are going to have a variety of instructions. Some is just send us an email and they'll give you the email to send it to. And others are fill out this form. Some ask for the blog post written before they even submit it. So that is also something to consider. So the main purpose here is to, one, improve your SEO, build that trust with Google. And the second thing is to get people to come back to your website, which also helps with your SEO and your relationship with Google. So if you have a freebie that you're linking to in the post and it's hosted on a Flowdesk landing page or a MailerLite landing page, you want to make sure you bring that to your actual website domain, because that's how you're going to get the best results from it. Now that we've kind of walked through what guest posting kind of looks like, I did want to give you a little bit more of a reminder that it's okay to do this at your own pace. Think of SEO like a snowball. Sure, if you add more snow, it's going to grow more quickly. But no matter how much snow you add, like your snowball is getting bigger. So even if you only write one guest post every few months, that's still moving forward. Those backlinks don't disappear unless that post is removed or that site is taken down, which it just depends in that case. But if that blog post is up for years, you're going to get the benefits for years. So give yourself permission to schedule these guest blogs or pitch these opportunities as you see fit. Fit them into your schedule. Do what you can when you can. It all counts towards your SEO growth. Now, if you're the DIY type and you want to try guest blogging for SEO for your own business or brand, I highly recommend grabbing that free guest posting guidebook using the link in my description. It's going to give you everything that you need. If you're more of like guest blogging sounds great, but you're thinking, when would I have time for any of this? I totally get it. I do have an SEO audit and optimization package that does include the complete off-page SEO analysis along with a custom backlinking strategy just for your business. So this includes guest blogging opportunities, it could be podcasting opportunities, it could be directory opportunities, but it is all about building your off-page SEO, and it is custom and unique to you. That also includes a fully optimized website. And if that's something that you want to do, you can apply and book a free call using the stuff in my description. I hope you found this helpful, and don't forget to drop any of your guest blogging questions in the comments down below. I'd love to help you figure it out so that you can start guest blogging and see that SEO growth. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button so you don't miss any future SEO tips and strategies. This is the first video in a guest blogging for SEO series, so stick around. You're going to want to hear it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.